It's midnight. The fog is thick. I move along the street like a cat on thin ice. There's a certain menace in the air, a bad smell. Something ain't right here. A kid jumps out of the shadows asking me to go into the liquor store and buy him beer and cigarettes. Beat it, Buster, I tell him, and I keep on moving. Then I hear him whistle behind me. Next thing, there's a crowd of goons up ahead, can barely see them through the fog. A light from a lone street lamp bounces off the hand of one of the punks. He's holding something shiny. A watch? No, too big. An iPhone? Wrong era. A flick knife? My heart starts pounding and my blood runs cold like I'm in some kind of bad 80s song. Then a hand grips my shoulder tight. I try to turn around, but I'm hearing all kinds of stories about KELSEY'S bar. They say they refurbished the joint, ripped out all the old seating, try to make the place look respectable. Say they flat out ruined the place, killed the ambience, the seediness. I decided to take a look for myself. First thing I notice as I walk through the door is the joint is crowded. Can't even get to the bar for all the hipsters and students. This is not good. I need to create a diversion. I start coughing and spluttering. Damn this wretched disease. Next thing, I got the whole bar to myself, a choice of barmaids and whiskeys. I picked the blonde and the straight bourbon. Hold the rock, sister. You want ice with that, mister? Sure, I tell her. She's around 35, long blonde hair, blue eyes, legs made for stamping on any guy who gets in her way. What she makes up for in looks, she lacks in brains. Maybe she can help me. Say, doll, I got a question for you. What kind of coat can only be put on when wet? She thinks for a moment, looks at her fingernails and says, a raincoat? Salamander, baby, take me way down south. Tallahassee, mama, I can't stay here no how. I look up to the stars, I see nothing. into your eyes, I see a black, black heart. Salamander, baby, take me down. The main bar room is full of shifty-looking folk, and things don't get any prettier in the smoking area. I'm standing next to a giant mass of tangled ginger hair. The only way I can tell there's a guy inside of it is from the light bouncing off his glasses. Hair don't wear glasses and beards don't talk. As he starts to move and disentangle some of the hair from around his face, I notice that he has a mole. She's around 5'11", wears heavy makeup and shades, doesn't change her expression, not once. I wink at her and she doesn't even tell me to take a hike. I'm thinking about maybe kicking things up a notch and flashing her a smile, but before I get a chance to, a siren sounds. Half the punks in the joint freeze, the other half make for the fire exit. I decide to use the main door, no need to get jumpy. As I walk past the blonde broad with blue eyes, I turn to her and say, "It's a coat of paint." The answer is a coat of paint. Traveling cross country, New York to San Francisco. I'm with a dame, let's call her Tallulah. We pass through some pretty swell towns along the way, Iowa City, Ogallala, but we don't stop at any of those places, no. We stop at Green River, Wyoming. I asked the guy at the motel if there's any place around here that trades in liquor, and that's how we wind up at Shooter's Bar and Grill. The entrance to the joint is around the side of the building, facing the parking lot. We walk through the gap where I guess a door once hung and along the dark, narrow hallway. There's a door on the left, and there's a door on the right. The door on the left leads to the bar. The door on the right is the restroom. We turn left. Being a gentleman, I let Tallulah go first, so she can check if there's any bar brawls in progress. She gives me the all clear and I follow her in. There's a couple vacant stools over at the far end of the bar. I take one, Tallulah takes the other one. The bartender looks at me and says, "Are you gonna sit there?" "Sure," I tell him. I was already sitting there. Maybe he couldn't think of any better questions. Maybe he thought I was really short. Maybe. We're on our second beer when some kind of cowboy walks in. He's got a holster attached to his hip and looks kind of agitated about something. I notice folk looking over at us and whispering, kind of weird. I figure maybe we ought to go and sit at the table over by the exit. A waitress comes bounding over. She's got a smile as wide as the Boyson Dam and is wearing enough makeup to paint it twice. How you guys doing today? Where y'all from? Where y'all going? California? I sure wish I was going to California. Get the hell out of this one-horse dodge. Then she leans in real close. Her smile is gone, replaced by a look of fear, dread, maybe even grave concern. Listen, you gotta get out of here. That guy over there is Crazy Horse. He's crazy as a coot. You were sitting in his seat and he ain't too thrilled about it. Make like you're going to the restroom or something. I'll try and distract him. Then she straightens up. Her smile returns. She pulls at her blouse till a button breaks free and hits the floor. I tell Tallulah to go powder her nose. I'll be out in 1 minute flat. Then I start counting. Not out loud. That might arouse suspicion. "30 seconds. The waitress is on all fours chasing the button across the wooden floor. Crazy Horse can't take his eyes off her. I figure now's a good time for me to leave. One minute, I'm sitting outside in the Buick, but no Tallulah. Minutes, still no Tallulah. Sweat starts pouring off my forehead and onto the steering wheel. Still no Tallulah. Maybe I should go back inside and see if she's okay. No, that might be dangerous. I turn on the engine. 4 minutes. Tallulah appears through the gap where I guess a door once hung and shimmies across the parking lot like she's taking a leisurely stroll on Malibu Beach. She climbs into the automobile and my foot hits the gas. "Where the hell were you?" She turns to me and says, "I had to pee." Three years have passed. 3 long years of head scratching, whiskey drinking, and dead-end leads. I'm sitting at the bar of Mama Bell's. The proprietor pours me another sour mash. She has the face of a boxer who's been through some hard times. She's wearing a low-cut black dress and ill-fitting teeth. The phone rings. She picks it up. Says it's someone looking for me, but nobody knows I'm here. Something ain't right. "Luigi O'Reilly," the voice says. "Maybe." I give nothing away. "Jack Murdry. Meet me at Barbie's Hotel, 8 o'clock tonight. Don't be late." Then he hangs up. Jack Murdry? Jack Murdry, the casino racketeer and maybe cold-blooded killer? Just as I'm about to give up looking for him, he turns up, but How does he know where I am? I swivel round on the bar stool, scanning the scene, the red faux leather booths, the pictures of dead blues players hanging off the grimy walls. Nobody there. How does he know where I am? I walk slowly around the bar. Hidden behind a curtain, there's a pool table. A broad is playing pool by herself, cute, maybe 25, no one else around, just her. She looks over at me and winks before potting the 8-ball. Do you wink at every guy that walks in here?
Only when I know I'm gonna pot the ball.
Do you know Jack MURDRY?
I ain't never heard of him. Is that the guy you were talking to on the phone?
Maybe, I answer. She's getting nothing. So you work in this joint?
I live in this joint.
Just you?
Just me and my mama.
Mama Belle?
The very same.
That's swell. Say, what happened to her teeth?
Well, ever since the casino went bust, we ain't had no money for fancy things like tooth doctors.
Dentists?
Them neither. Can't afford nothing.
Is that why you're wearing those jeans and that sweater? She doesn't answer. We get talking about this and that, asking each other questions, digging around. Then she glides over to the jukebox.
What kind of music do you like?
Jazz, sometimes jazz, but mostly jazz. Depends on my mood.
What brings you here anyways?
I don't know, the darkness, the strange smell, the sign on the door that says, keep walking, and it's a bar. I check my watch. It's 19:30. Barbie's hotel is maybe 25 minutes away. Before I leave, I decide to ask the winking pool dame how she knows when she's gonna pot a ball.
Well, I just pick up on the aura of the room, get a feel for the vibrations. If it feels right, then it feels right.
Aura? Vibrations? This dame's crazy, but she sure has pretty eyes. I put on my hat and step out onto the rainy street. Barbie's Hotel, 2000 hours. I walk through the dimly lit lobby up to the reception desk. The receptionist is a real doll, maybe 5'4", long blonde hair, attractive cleavage. I'm looking for a Mr. MURDRY. She tells me to go through the orange door, says everyone's waiting in there. Everyone? What do you mean, everyone? She don't say nothing, just points to a poster stuck to the wall at the side of me. I carefully lift my gaze out of her cleavage and turn my head to read it. Murder Mystery Weekend, Barbie's Hotel, 8 o'clock, don't be late. That's what the poster says in a cruel Comic Sans font. My blood begins to boil. I turn my head back toward the receptionist. This time I look her straight in the eye. I said I'm looking for a Mr. MURDRY. I ain't got time for games, I tell her firmly. Just then there's a loud bang from behind the orange door, followed by a scream, then silence. I never like to stick around when bullets start flying. I stumble out onto the rain-drenched street and make my way back to Mama Belle's. The rain is coming down hard. I walk past the pawn shop, past the tattoo parlor, turn down the dark, narrow alleyway till I get to Mama Belle. It isn't there. My blood freezes. I look around. It was here only 45 minutes ago. Now it's gone. Did somebody steal it? There's most likely blind mutant rats scuttling about my feet, but I can't see anything. The darkness is sucking me into a void of nothingness, like the universe has collapsed in on itself and left me a shivering, muttering wreck. I take a deep breath, try to collect my thoughts, be rational. Nobody steals a building. But there was something strange about that place. The phone call, the cookie dame talking about auras, her unflattering clothes. No, I gotta think clearly. I retrace my steps. I walk back down the alley, back out onto the street. I look to my right, the direction I'd walked from. Then I look left. There's another tattoo parlor a little further down the street. I walk past it and turn left down the dark, narrow alleyway to Mama Bell's. Good thing I know how to remain calm in a crisis. A lot of folk would have gone crazy back there. I ask to use the phone behind the bar. I call the operator. The operator sounds cute, maybe 30, heavy Chicago accent. She seems to be flirting with me, but I ain't got time for that. She says she can't give me any information on who phoned the number earlier. Another dead end. I take my bourbon for a walk over to the pool table. Cutie winks at me, then pots the solid 3.
I figured you'd be back.
Something tells me that maybe you know more than you say you do, and something else tells me that maybe you better start talking. Tell me more about Mama Bell's casino, the one that went bust. She gets up close to me, so close I can smell her perfume and feel her breath on my face. I'm thinking she's gonna kiss me. I'm about to say, not here, not now, not like this, but there's no kiss. She says,
All right, I'll talk. But first, I need a drink.
She disappears to the bar. She says something to Mama Bell. Mama Bell nods her head. Some kind of sense of relief sweeps across both their faces. She hands the winking pool girl a bottle of Rebel Yell and a glass. Winking pool girl walks back over to me with a heavy stride and plenty of liquor. She leads me to the darkest corner of the saloon. She flicks a switch on the wall and a wooden panel slides across silently, revealing a dark alcove of some type. I step inside. The room is lit by a neon sign propped against a wall. The sign reads, "No vacancy." She walks towards me. This time she's gonna kiss me for sure. Her left arm stretches out over my shoulder, her face close to mine. I can smell her makeup. I draw both of my hands up to her head, brushing her hair back from her face to create a clear pathway to her burning lips. I blurt out, "You sure are beautiful," but there's no kiss. She flicks a switch behind my head and the wooden panel closes silently and slowly. She sits down, opens the bottle and pours herself a drink. I notice she has a bracelet on her wrist made out of guitar strings. What kind of cheap punk buys a pretty dame like you a bracelet made out of guitar strings?
He ain't no cheap punk. He used to be one of the finest guitar players in town.
You used to be?
We used to have a jazz night in here. Jimmy would play the most soulful sounds you ever heard. Well, one night he was about to play. He was tuning up his guitar when some country picker walked over and said something to him. Jimmy just froze. I was standing at the bar. I saw his soul die with my very own eyes. Nobody knows what he said to him. But afterwards, he played a couple of tunes. Sounded terrible. He was playing the wrong notes, singing the wrong words. He'd lost it, just like that. He put his guitar back in its case and never played it again. A few days later, he gave his guitar away to Johnny Blue.
The blues guy?
How many guys you know called Johnny Blue? Anyways, he didn't come in here again. He said the guy had cut off his connection. See, the thing with Jimmy is he used to think he had some kind of connection to dead blues players. Like they were speaking through him when he played. It was some kind of spell, and whatever that guy said to him broke the spell.
Sad story, I say, looking at her legs and thinking how pretty they must be underneath those jeans. So you don't have a jazz night anymore?
No, it started to get too much attention. Me and Mama Belle are trying to keep things nice and simple. Don't want too many folk finding out where we are, if you know what I mean.
The casino?
Yeah, witness protection.
She knocks back her drink and pours herself another one. Then, noticing my glass is empty, she fills that up too.
Everything was going just swell till a big enterprise moved into town. They started buying up all the stocks in the casinos, pulling all kinds of stunts to drive them into the ground. Tried intimidating us, sending gamblers to make trouble at the tables, trying to give the place a bad name, drive the customers away. Then one day, a body showed up, and it was a dead one. It was behind one of the poker tables. We were being framed. We decided to call in a favor from a local cop. He knew what the corporation's game was, but he told us there wasn't a damn thing that could be done about him. They were too big, too powerful. So he helped us get out. We split in the dead of night, took all the cash, loaded up the station wagon, and drove out across the desert till we became invisible.
Her voice trembles as she relives the tale, her speech quickening, her words a torrent of painful memories. Her eyes are black, but her soul is a mysterious shade of grey. I could fall for her right here, right now.
This place was a hotel when we got here. But we didn't want folk coming, going, sniffing around, taking pictures. So we turned the rooms into apartments and rented them out to college students. After a spell, we started to forget about the casino. Then one day I picked up a newspaper. The headline read, "Luigi O'Reilly pokes around casino." I started reading it. It was Mama Belle's casino, all right. The story said you were about to crack the case wide open. Had a lead on a Jack MURDRY. There was a photo of you next to the article. That's how I knew who you were when you walked in here earlier. Sorry about the phone call.
You made the phone call? Luigi O'Reilly? Jack MURDRY here, she says in a deep voice, deeper than a dame's voice ought to be. She starts laughing. She looks even cuter when she laughs. Her entire face lights up brighter than any neon no vacancy sign. Meet me at Barbie's Hotel, 8 o'clock tonight. Don't be late. Again in that eerily deep tone. She laughs again. I can almost feel the muscles around my mouth give way to a smile, maybe even a laugh of my own, but I resist. But you were in this bar the whole time. How did you make the phone call? She reaches into the pocket of her jeans and pulls out a rectangular metal object.
I used my phone?
She used her phone. She's got one of those modern portable telephones. She's really something. You're really something.
I sure am.
You sure are. I don't even know your name. You have a name?
Beauty.
You sure are, I say. No need for any other words, but I find some anyway. What kind of messed up, crazy world do we live in that a pretty dame like you is holed up in a joint like this?
I'm not a dame.
I'm not a dame, and then silence. The kind of silence where you can hear your own heartbeat and distant clocks ticking. After the last time I thought I'd never be fooled again, the guy back in Frisco walked like a dame, talked like a dame, well, you know the rest. My thoughts race in a million directions quicker than good whiskey. She sure looks like a dame, but she's wearing jeans and a man-sized sweater. She's wearing a bracelet, but it's made out of guitar strings. Dames don't play guitar. She spoke on the phone in a deep voice, saying she's Jack Murdry. Jack Murdry. Jack Murdry?
What?
What do you mean you ain't a dame?
I mean, it's 2016. Nobody uses words like dame anymore. You gotta have a little more respect for women than that. I ain't a dame, a broad, or whatever else you wanna call me. I'm a 21st century woman and I stand on my own 2 feet. I got too much self-respect to let you walk in here and call me a dame.
So she is a dame. I begin to relax. I beg your pardon, ma'am, I say sincerely, but she doesn't stop there. This broad sure can talk.
I don't know what happened to you, what made you like this. Maybe you've been through some hard times. Maybe somebody broke your heart. But you gotta let go. Start living in the now. Go where your heart leads you.
Save the daytime TV talk, sister. I don't go in for that kind of stuff. When you've seen as much misery and pain as I have, you kind of tighten up. It kind of focuses the mind. Tell me more about the casino.
Well, it's like I said. We got out just in time. Everybody knew who was behind it and...
A song starts playing, a tinny static noise that seems to be coming from her hips. She really is something. She stops talking and reaches into the pocket of her jeans. It's her telephone. She says it's a text from Jimmy. Says he's on his way over. She pushes some buttons on the device and puts it back in her pocket. She starts talking about Jimmy again. My mind begins to wander. Every now and then I interject with a poor kid or tough break, but I'm beginning to daydream. I picture a scene on the back of my eyelids. I'm walking out through the door of Mama Bell's out onto the street where a crowd of reporters has gathered. Dictaphones thrust in my face, cameras flashing all around. A nasally voice kicks off the proceedings. Say, Luigi, so you finally cracked the MURDRY case. How did you do it? It wasn't so hard, I answer casually. And another reporter, cigar hanging from his mouth, wearing a flat cap. Tell me what makes you tick, Mr. O'Reilly. Dames, broken dreams, discarded cigarettes on abandoned railroad tracks. When I open my eyes, I'm still in the neon-lit room and Beauty is still talking. I ask her to tell me more about the casino. She says there's nothing more to tell, no point sniffing around, it's too big. The corporation owns everybody and everything in the town. I figure it's time for me to go. She calls me a cab from her device. I finish my drink and she reaches behind me to flick a switch. The wooden panel slides open silently. I put on my hat and step back into the bar. Jimmy's standing in the doorway. Beauty introduces us. I figure I'll wait for the cab out on the street. Before I leave, I turn to Jimmy and say, Listen, kid, take a tip from me. You can't leave Jazz and Jazz can't leave you. Nobody gets out of this thing alive. You gotta go where your heart leads you. The rain has eased off, replaced by a damp smell and bugs in the warm, sticky night air. I stand at the end of the alleyway thinking things through. Maybe Beauty was right. Maybe it's time to forget about Mr. Murdry, murder mysteries, and the whole stinking rotten game. Maybe I won't see Beauty ever again. I could tell myself she was just another dame. She was just another dame, I mumble under my breath. A car rolls down the street and pulls up to the curb. As I step from the alleyway toward the cab, I hear a guitar tuning up.